we continue in our discussion in the gate of discernment, the Sharat Tavuna, where we will move on beyond our discussions of vengeance and taking revenge and being generally not nice to others. And we will discuss how great it is to be careful to judge people favorably. This is quite an involved section. We will go through it a little bit more rapidly because of how long it is. I want to make sure that we get it in. And we are really going to focus on how to perceive people better than what we might think they are. So in the previous chapters, we explained, says the Chofetz Chaim, a certain person, and we need to be careful that when we refer something negative about them, on any single person in the general population of Israel, for the sin, the great sin that this imposes upon us, is something that's found in the Gemara Pesachim, 87b, where it writes the following, quoting the book of Proverbs 30:10, a servant should not be slandering their master. And then it says further after that, a generation where one's father and mother are cursed by you shall not see blessing. And even that type of generation, seeing curses upon their progenitors, right, their father and their mother, they should still not be looking to slander their masters. And that master, of course, is the Holy One, blessed be He. And we see in the prophet Isaiah, Yeshaya Navi, that when he saw the glory of God, right? This is in his Revelation story where he experiences prophecy. He sees the whole of the temple filled with the glory of God. He says, "Oh, woe to me that I have been placed a person of bad reputation and of filth, spiritual filth, where the mouths are filled with filth. And I'm filled with a nation whose mouths are filled with filth. And here I am sitting before the great King Hashem." And since he said, I sit amongst a nation, so even though he wasn't trying to say anything bad about the Jewish people, and he said something bad about himself as well, however, he felt himself unworthy of seeing the presence of God. Not because of something that he did, and not because something that the nation himself had done that he experienced amongst them. Nonetheless, we see afterwards that God rebukes him. He says, "And over me flew one of the seraphim, the burning angels, and he held a bit of glowing coals." And then what does the angel do? The Yeshaya relates. He says, "He touched my lips with them." And the rabbis say in this Gemara that this is actually an acronym. It says that the mouth runs to do negative things upon my children. Okay, it should be sealed shut or burnt shut. And really, the truth is that this was actually the end of Yeshayahu as well, as says the Gemara in Yevamos. Okay, that they basically went and they took him and placed him into a plain box. Okay, and when that happened, he passed away. All right, and this is what happened with Menashe. Menashe was looking to kill Yeshayahu, and Yeshayahu said, and he pronounced a magic word, and he moved himself inside of a tree, and they went and they broke down the tree. Then when they started chopping the tree, that's when he died. Look at the Gemara there. Okay, and so too by Moshe Rabbeinu, it says that the gathering. This is in Bamidbar. This is in 32:14. Right? When he's fighting with the Jewish people, what does it say to them? You are a sinful collection of people. And And what happened was, it says that somebody named Shivuel, son of Gershom, okay, that was his own grandson, and that grandson went and worshipped before Avodah Zarah. The rabbis bring this tradition in Bava Kama 109, and it's also brought in the Yerushalmi in chapter 9, Halacha 2. So we see also because of the Lashon Hara spoken by our great leaders. And even the more so we find by Eliyahu, because he makes this statement to Hashem. This is in the first book of Kings, 19:10. It says, take vengeance for me, be jealous on my behalf, because the Jewish people have forgotten you and have left your covenant. So therefore, Hashem removed prophecy from Eliyahu, and then he said to go ahead and choose Elisha instead. And this statement is also brought by the rabbis in the Yalkut, the collection of midrashim known as Yalkut Malachim. The Sefer HaCharedim says the following midrash as well, that a messenger was punished for the same reason. So in the second book of Kings, chapter 7, verse 19, it says, "Behold, Hashem, He's going to make windows in heaven." This is a conversation between Elisha and one of the servants of King King Achav. And it doesn't say it here, I'm just telling you context. He says, how is it possible that you're going to bring us all this food where the heavens will open up like windows to drop food on us? So he says, I know Hashem could do it, but we're not worthy of it. Why should we be worthy of having windows in heaven open up and drop food upon us? Right? Because we find that this is what happened by the flood of Noach, that the windows of heaven opened up upon us. So if you look at sort of Noach in Bereshit chapter 7, verse 11, the windows opened up. It's possible, but this guy is questioning how would we be deserving of such an amazing miracle. And Elisha says, since you said bad things about the Jews, you will get nothing. And they actually trample him, getting all the food. So I want you to see the great advice that we're getting from these midrashim. And I also want you to look at this advice that's given in the midrash of Tana Devel Eliyahu, chapter 7. The Jewish people, they are compared to a grapevine. Not because they heard it, the grape. Because they act like grapevine. Because it says, back by Yeshayahu, again, that the vineyard of God is the Jewish people. What does that mean? So Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus, Rabbi Eliezer the Great, as he's called here, said the following: the Jewish people, Beis Yisrael, they are the vineyard of God, the Holy One, blessed be He. Don't try to start up with it, okay? And the Chafetz Chaim adds over here, even, trying to find some problems with it at all. And if you're trying to start up with it, don't try to enter it. And if you go into it, don't eat from it. And if you ate from it, or you benefit from it, like I said, the shade, don't eat from the fruits. And with all these things, you've poked it, you've gone in there, and you've benefited from it, you ate from it, well, then you're benefiting from something from which you have no rights to benefit from. So the idea is don't start up with God's vineyard. It's so important. The Zohar makes an interesting statement. It says the following in the name of Rabbi Akiva. Even though we find that there are those who are very righteous in the entire world, and they say one nasty thing, that Hashem, meaning if they complain a little bit, God forbid, about what things that Hashem does, or they have little unkind things to say about the Jewish people, the punishment is very great. Because you don't find such great righteousness like Eliyahu in all of his nation, but he said one little not unkind thing, and that was the end of his being a prophet. Okay, and that was the end of it. So therefore, come and see, what did we say about him? And we find that as soon as he said something bad in that story, in Malachim Aleph 19:6, it says he looked and he saw a cake of coals, So what does that mean? So the Holy One said to him, okay, so this is what's fitting for you to eat when you say nasty things about my children. Okay? Now, just to give context to that, he was traveling in the desert, he was hungry, and so that was what Hashem was telling him about eating. He's like, if you're going to say nasty things about the Jewish people, you're going to eat cold cakes. So say nice things. Rabbi Yitzchak, it says, Eliyahu did not leave from there until he swore before the Holy One, blessed be He, to only say good things about the Jewish people. And anyone who does anything meritorious for them, and does these same things before the Holy One, blessed be He, such and such thing has so and so done now, and he cannot move from that spot until that same merit is put on his own person, as it says this case over here. Okay. So that's the contrary of that. So from what we see here is how important you should be about what we say, and that every person needs to be careful about their own feelings when saying negative things about the entirety of the Jewish people. And instead, a person should accustom themselves to only say kind things and to mention meritorious things. And therefore, if you want to blame somebody, blame individual people. It doesn't say that. And therefore, because of this, these people will become beloved to you and treasured to you, and you will become treasured before the Holy One, blessed be He. The Gemara in Yuma exemplifies this in the following way. It's page 77, where it talks about Gavriel. And he heard that Gavriel, the angel, hears that God is going to punish the Jewish people. And he stood outside of the dividing line between the spiritual and the physical realm, and he only said good things about the Jewish people. And God said to him, who's saying good things? He says, let that person come in here and say that to my face. Okay, it's an interesting Gemara because it goes on, but the main thing that he's bringing from the Chafetz Chaim is that saying good things gets you an audience with the Holy One, blessed be He. Similarly, in a number of places, for example, in Tana Devei Eliyahu, chapter 19, it says that the people there focused significantly on saying good things about the Jewish people. Here's what they said there. Holy One, blessed be He. See now with your own very eyes, and begin our fight, and take up the suffering that we have taken up before you. What was done to us every single hour. And remember all of the homeowners that are in the Jewish people, and they just don't have enough to sustain themselves, but they still engage in learning Torah every single day. And also remember all the poor people that are in the Jewish people, because the non-Jews and those who stray after false gods, they are trying to take away their very flesh with taxes and property taxes, regular income taxes and property taxes. And still, the Jewish people engage in Torah learning. Remember how many young people in the Jewish people that don't know their right from their left, and they still engage in Torah learning every single day. Remember them, the old and the old men and the old women that are there in the Jewish people, that get up every single morning and spend every single night in the synagogues and in the learning houses, and they increase the amount of love, and they increase the amount of wailing, and they look forward to your redemption from all of these things every single day. My Father in heaven, remember the covenant that you have sealed with our early ancestors, with the three righteous ones, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also that you have written in your Torah. It says in Vayikra 25:35, if your poor shall become destitute, you should strengthen them. And therefore, explains the Chafetz Chaim, you should strengthen us. You want us to strengthen us? You need to strengthen us. My Father in heaven, remember all of the offerings of the Pesach that we brought to you, and how many blind people there were in the Jewish people, that they don't have any food, and nonetheless they used to pay people to teach them Torah, and they should teach their children Torah. Our Father in heaven, remember the Jewish people, that they are yours and belong to you in this very world, right? And he called them in Ha'azinu. It says that you are their father, their master. And you say it again. Hashem had acquired me as the beginning of his ways. Our Father in heaven, remember how many women have been bereft of their husbands, how many children have been bereft of their parents, and how many there are of these people in Israel. And they still engage in Torah learning and completing mitzvahs every single day. Chafetz Chaim goes back and comments, and he says the following. From here we learn that a person needs to be so careful with every single person in Israel to always speak up for those who need compassion. And that compassion should rise up before the Holy One, blessed be He, on behalf of the entire Jewish people, and on behalf of them and those like them. And on this very day, there should be all types of merits for them and for those like them. That those who know in their times the condition that they live in and how destitute it can be for many Jewish people. And nonetheless, there is a blessing before Hashem that there are so many people who are learning Torah and keep the mitzvahs, and those people who strengthen the Torah, and those people who continue to do good deeds and do charity every single moment. We conclude with the following insight in this chapter in the Midrash Tanchuma. It says the following pasuk. This is in the Devarim. This is 16:18. And you shall judge the Jewish people, the entire nation, with true judgment. Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Shalom says that they used to tilt and teach the children to only say good things before the Holy One, blessed be He. What they're saying is that they were prejudiced towards that. That's what the words here literally. They prejudiced the students to only say good things before the Holy One. So where did they learn this from? They learned it from Gidon ben Yoash. What happened in Gidon ben Yoash's days? The Jewish people were having a tough time. And the Holy One, blessed be He, looked for some person over there who would say nice things about the Jewish people and could find none. Because everyone was lacking in their mitzvah performance and in their performance of good deeds. And since he found a good thing with Gidon said nice things about the Jewish people. And so immediately the angel appears before him, as it says. This is in the book of Judges, Shoftim 6:11. And the angel appeared to Gidon, and he said to him, with this strength of yours. What's the strength? The strength of saying good things and merits about the Jewish people. Why? Because you shall judge the people with a true judgment, a righteous judgment. That you should say only the things that are meritorious on behalf of that entire generation. And from this we can see clearly that should be understood that saying meritorious things before God is so important. And after that, there is a chariot of light that leads you straight to the holiest of holy places, which is called the chamber of merits. And in that very place of merits is the merits of the Jewish people, as is spelled out in the book Sefer Haredim. And with that, we will hold it here. We will learn more about patience next week, not just about saying nice things and good things, but we shall be more patient as we go into the following week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for only thinking good things. Continue to only think meritorious and good things about the Jewish people.